Try not to swear too much.
Hey guys, welcome along to this new series where I have a sit-down chat with sports stars, getting the inside scoop and chatting about their journey in their chosen sport and what the future holds for them. If you're not already subscribed, then you know what to do. Hit that button and let's begin. My first guest hasn't even made his pro debut yet, but he's already signed to MT Global, the same management as Tyson Fury. We'll be chatting about his upcoming debut and his experiences with both AJ and Tyson ahead of their upcoming fight. He's come from hard beginnings and had to fight through them before he even stepped foot in a ring. In today's chat, we are going to delve deeper than he ever has about his early life and how he had to overcome it to bring him to where he is today. So a bit like a therapy session. So hold on tight, guys. It's Jordan the Wanderer Reynolds.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Jordan. That was an epic promo shot. I love it. The music, the drama, and drama is sort of something that's kind of followed you around, isn't it?
Mate, listen, drama don't stop in my life. It's it seems like to be one thing after another, if I'm honest. But it's all character building. It's all yeah, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? It's what drives me.
So, for some of those people that have heard your story before, they might be aware of some of the early things that you had to deal with in your life, but you've never actually fully spoken out on it, and that's exactly what you want to do today, isn't it? So take it away. Where do you want to begin?
Yeah, but it'd be nice to put it out there. It's like I can't cover all bases because we'll be here all day, all night. So but yeah, it's been a ride. It's been a journey. Do you know what I mean? And I've just started my pro career, and it's still writing itself. But it all started when I was younger. Do you know what I mean? A lot of fighters come from rough and ready upbringings, which makes us have that fight and that dog in us. But for me, it was at an early age, 8, 9. I was seeing a lot of things that I shouldn't be seeing when it comes to family stuff. A lot of confusion, I had a lot of confusion growing up. For example, like when we used to go away, my mum always done the best for me, you know what I mean? Even my dad as well, he tried to, provide and do what he could for me, but I felt like there's less of one.
No, it's fine. I just put you full screen because you're talking.
Hear me?
Carry on. Carry on.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Is it still all good? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm just putting you full screen when you're talking.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. No, I was just saying. Yeah, it's been a mad journey. Like mine was more mental torture than physical torture for seeing the things I was seeing, at home and family situations. But I think it all started when I first had that real spike in hate when I was about 7 or 8. When I think about the last memory I have going on holiday was when me, mum, dad, and my sister, we went away. I was about 7 or 8, and still things like this, it haunts you a little bit. they took us out. I was sitting there at the table having dinner, and obviously my mum and dad had a few drinks, as you do. It's holiday, but my mother was out up dancing, and I remember like it's yesterday, like it's crazy. And I don't know if my dad got a bit jealous or whatnot, but I remember him going over there and like put my mum away, just like hit my mum. And from there I was a bit like, John May, everyone's screaming and things like that, and I feel like it was a bit of a. I was a kid, you know what I mean? Like I'm thinking, like, what's going on here? And after there, my mum, we're in the middle of Spain by ourselves. So I mean, she's screaming at my dad like, "No, don't come back to the hotel. Don't come back to the hotel." Do you know what I mean? She's in tears. All she was doing was dancing, and I don't know if my dad had a few. I don't know if my dad, got a bit jealous. I don't know what it is. When you drink and things like that, when you fall into, when you drink too much, you start making things up in your head and things like that. So that can play on it. But we was in the middle of Spain, and we were stuck in the middle of Spain. And I just remember sitting there with my sister, and everyone just crying. Do you know what I mean? We were in the middle of Spain, and it's late at night. It's dangerous. Do you know what I mean? So I remember making our way back to
Who's
the
older,
hotel.
you or your sister?
I was young. I was about 8 or 9. I was about 8 or 9, maybe younger. It's the first holiday. It's the last holiday I can actually remember. Like when I think back, that's the first thing I remember. That's the first holiday. Like so yeah, I was about 8, and my sister was about 15 or something like that. So we're in the middle of Spain. My sister and mum was crying, and I'm thinking like, I'm confused. Do you know what I mean? I'm confused. I don't even know what's going on. So
Is
we
that
got
the
back to the
first time
hotel.
you'd ever witnessed violence then at that point?
Yeah, violence and just like I would say emotion. You know what I mean? So much emotion, just so much. I was very, like I said, confused and just a bit like, whoa. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's going on here? So I remember going back to the hotel with my mum and my sister, and my mum asked for the key, but then the key was gone, and I thought, and so that means that means my dad's come back to the hotel. And mum said, "Don't come back to the hotel." Do you know what I mean? Like it's disgusting what we've done, and he's drunk and things like that. Like we're only young. We don't want to see any more. So we got back to the hotel, and we walked in there. My dad's just laying there, like he's just laying there on a chair, just sitting there, like just like out of it, paralytic. And I remember me and my sister looking and thinking, oh man, what's going to happen? Do you know what I mean? And my mum said, look, get into the room, get into the room, get in there, don't come out, whatever. Tucked us in bed. But obviously we're staying there, and as you do as kids, we snuck out and peeked our head through the door, as you do. And
What's
mate,
going to happen next? I want a front row seat. What's going
yeah,
to happen
front row
next? Let's
seats,
get the front row seat.
literally. And my mum was just crying and just saying like this must have been happening for a few years for my mum to have this so much anger and stuff like that. And she was just like, so I remember saying, why are you doing this, why this? And he was just out of it, but he was mumbling stuff. I remember my mum just hitting him over the head with a wooden chair, and the chair snapped and he just fell to the floor. And I thought he was dead. I thought he was dead. And then my mum's seen us watching. She screamed at us, and we were seeing all blood on the floor. But then we heard a knock on the door, and I thought, oh mate, like we were in trouble here. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know what's happened to my dad. You think you're the worst case. Do you know what I mean? But there was a man from the hotel, from the pub we was at. He witnessed what happened at the bar where my dad hit my mum, and he followed us home. Lucky enough, and he was a police officer, but he wasn't working that day. So he's like, my mum's panicking and worrying and crying. That things gonna happen to her. And we're in Spain as well. Like this, to be honest, they don't really like the English that much. You know what I mean? Like we do take the piss a bit out
Yeah.
out in
And
there.
they're
So
quite scary as well. Like I always find police abroad are like far scarier, like probably just because of like the language barrier or something. I remember us being in Lanzarote when I was little, and my dad was driving around a roundabout the wrong way, and then the police come up, and obviously they've got all the guns and stuff already, haven't they? And I just remember being like 6, like, oh my god, they're gonna shoot my dad, and it's like, no, they're just telling us that we're going around the wrong way on a roundabout, but everything just seems like a lot more scary. And obviously you were in a scary situation at that point anyway, so that must have just heightened it even more.
Yeah, they are savage, but that's another story, because actually the first time I ever got beat up, right, was actually in Spain by about 6 police officers when I was young. Well, we'll come to that anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go around that roundabout one more time.
But yeah, he helped us anyway. He seen what happened. We rang the police, rang the ambulance, and everything was sweet with my mum. You know, we picked my dad up in the morning. He had a big, massive thing over his head, and yeah, it was from there. And then that's when I started realizing all the stuff that was happening, like all. I started seeing little things at home. You know, my dad, like he must have had that. My dad was like, he was a good man back in the day. He is a good man. So I'm like, for what he does, his morals, things like that, it's alcohol, and what he's done is wrong. Do you know what I mean? It's wrong. It's out of order. But like especially in my town, a lot of people love him. Do you know what I mean? He's got like 5 brothers. That you know, that's a tough family. Do you know what I mean? And they're well known around the estate. But from seeing him to be like a man's man to like, if you see him throughout the years drinking so much, he was even hiding. I remember going downstairs and I would just sit on the sofa, but he'd be hiding drink. Do you know what I mean? Trying to hide his problem and things like that. But like, and I was always seeing them argue, but that was kind of like, that was making me like a bit, like a little bit insecure, like a bit shy. I used to be shy. I was a shy kid, man. I was making me a bit like, very high tempered. Do you know what I mean? No one could really have I couldn't really have a conversation with one. I was very I was just an insecure kid. I was a very insecure kid, and it affected me in school. I couldn't listen at school. I didn't want to be there. Like I couldn't switch on in class. I really couldn't. Like when the teachers were telling me stuff, I just couldn't. You know, go out one ear and out the other. I just couldn't be there. And things that kept happening. Things I kept seeing happened. And believe it or not, I was actually a chubby kid as well. To be fair.
I've got a
Yeah.
picture of you now up on the screen as a kid.
Here we are.
About how old are you there?
Oh, I don't know. I was young. I don't know. I don't know how to say. But I was a chubby kid, and I was always the slowest kid with my mates. Do you know what I mean? So like, yeah. So you know, I was like a chubby hatred. Like I don't know. I had a temper. Do you know what I mean? I had a temper.
Yeah, you had all this like pent up anger and aggression, and obviously
so
at that point, like you didn't have anywhere to put it. So then, obviously, like, what sort of age did you find boxing?
I found boxing about. I found boxing late, believe it or not. I was always around fighting. Like my uncles and that, we used to always they used to, you know, make us fight our cousins. So I mean, like, so we'd be in the back garden, my granddad's, and we'd all have we'd all put the gloves on, and it would be like it was old school. Do you know what I mean? My granddad, right? I said about my granddad, he was my idol. Like he was a proper man's man, like old school manners and morals. Like he would, mate. He was some man. He's some man, and I loved him, mate. But all the stuff was happening, like from my dad doing this, you know, the bad stuff to my mum. That started happening in school, in like my middle school. So when I was getting to about, I don't know, 11, 12, and I started growing up, I could start having a voice. And I ended up just, you know, like not speaking to my dad's family for about 5 years, man. And I lost contact with my granddad. Like he was my best mate. He was my idol, and I completely just lost in touch that my family. Like I was going to my mum's side of the family, and they would be like, "Oh, you just be like as you're growing up, you just be like your dad. You're just gonna be like your dad," and things like that. And I just think to myself, "Cool, man." Like, and these are not Reynolds. These are different families. These are Dumpletons. So it's and they relate to me. I just go to the house and think, all I'm doing is everywhere I go, I'm just getting looked down to, and like people are just making out what my journey is going to be anyway. Um, but the thing what broke it for me is when I when I witnessed my mum like near enough like mate like basically sparked out on my bed. I woke up and she was just laying there with, you know, bruised to bits, and that I had to go
And
downstairs.
when was this? Because obviously you said about the first time that you witnessed your dad being violent to your mum, that was when you were on holiday. So
Yeah.
obviously from that point to the point that you're going to get at now, and obviously then some really bad stuff happened, sort of that must have been going on. And then like what was the sort of progression from that first point to the really bad point?
Yeah. So from the first point, like as a really child, you know, I was witnessing things, but I weren't really going in. But when I got to about 11, you start getting your own mind. You start analysing things. I started seeing more things happen. Like my mum come in and be like, "Come on, just fucking hit me, just hit me." And my dad's just like, always out of it. And I just thought to myself, "What's going on?" But yeah, I started remembering and seeing more things when I was about 11 or 12. that's when the real spite and hateness started coming into me and applying to me in school and on the streets. And I was trying to look for people for comfort. I never had a real father figure to look up to, or someone to put in the right direction. So I'd just try and impress anyone. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
And just get a bit of love. And that's what I
That's
used to
called
create.
abandonment issues, by the way.
Pardon?
That's abandonment issues.
Yeah. So I guess yeah. So but I was just craving love, man. Do you know what I mean? And like now, all this stuff now, I do find it hard to show my love and my affection. But do you know what I mean? But yeah. So from the 12, the real bits was like seeing my mum there. Like my mum got rid of my dad anyway. I remember her sitting down and said, "Look, we can't be with your dad anymore."
Mm.
You know, like, and I thought, you know
And
what, like,
what was the breaking point for your mum then to like fully just
just my
completely be
dad
done?
always choosing drink over his family. That's what it was. And like if I'm honest, like if I look at my mum and dad, like back then I would say they're probably the perfect couple. They were still when my dad was sober and he had his head straight. He's a good man. And my mum's a fucking lovely woman. Do you know what I mean? Like she do what she can for her kids or whatever. But like it just drink just took over, and it was sad. It was sad, and like my mum just always tried to do what's best for us, and that was the big step. And after about a year or something, my mum ended up getting a boyfriend and things like that. And my dad was obviously jealous, or was just still bitter about the whole thing. He couldn't really understand. He couldn't really understand that why my wife left me. Why why is all this happening? Because he was losing everything. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And even now, which will breaks my heart now as well. I love my dad, all right, but I look at him, man, and he's in bits, mate. He's absolutely in bits. And I always say, like, someone who's got an issue like alcohol or drugs, they only can help themselves if they want to help themselves. Do
Exactly,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? And I say to him, like, I've put money aside for him, and for that day, but I always say, like, Dad, would you say you're an alcoholic? Like I can put you in a, because I've had times where I thought to myself, I just want to put him in a garage and lock him up and just don't let him out, But then I know he'd go straight to the pub straight after anyway. Do you know what I mean? After a few months, but I wouldn't do it properly, take him to a proper place, cancel him, do it properly. But he's so in denial, like he's like, no, he's like, no, he's like, I work. I'm like, I work, I'm just thinking, so,
He sees
mate,
it as like his sort of stress relief, like, oh, I don't have a problem, I'm busy with work, I'm doing this, whatever.
yeah.
It's his
Because he's
escapism.
working, it's fine. Because he's
Yeah,
working, he's not. But it's like, fucking hell, mate. It ruined my childhood, and it's ruined his life. Like, I was never. We got to a point when my dad did split up and things like that. We lost everything. We lost the house and things. So I was always that kid in school who I couldn't go on school trips. Do you know what I mean? Like I couldn't go home and ask my mum. Mum, everyone was going to all these places and going on holiday and Disney World and all that stuff. I was like, nah. I don't want to put that stress on my mum. Then my mum had so much pride. She didn't want to she didn't even want to go on the benefits for the school. Do you know, like school sometimes pay for for the school dinners and
free
that. So
school
my
dinners and
mum would give
things,
me a
yeah.
couple of quid, like £1.50 to £2. But I was using that, and that wasn't even enough. It was like £3.50 for school dinner, whatever it was. And I was using that, and I'd go to farm foods, and I would just buy loads of like drinks and foods and things like that, take them to school, and then I would sell them all at school. So I was making my own. I was kind of like making my own money, and then I was like, all right, don't worry, mum, I can sort out my dinner money and then bus fare money. I mean, like you get things sorted. That was like the first kind of stuff I started to become a man. I had to become quite a man early. Do you know what I mean? I had to kind of grow up early.
Mm-hmm.
I was like 12, 13, but I was out trying
You
to
had
get
to
the money.
step it
Like,
up.
yeah, straight. Do you know what I mean? Straight. Um, but yeah, when they all split up and that's like after a few months, that's when it all went a bit mad. Like my dad, uh, my dad must have thought that my mum's boyfriend was in the house or something like that, and my mum come over. My dad come over, and yeah, he beat my mum. He beat my mum bad, like bad. And I woke up, she was at the bottom of the bed, had to ring the ambulance and things like that. And I see her get taken away on a stretcher, and it fucking hurt me. That did. Do you know what I mean? And like we had nowhere to go. Do you know what I mean? Like we had nowhere to go. So once you come out, I was at my nan's. Then we had to go to like a refuge thing. So we was just staying together with one bed, just me and her. Do you know what I mean? Thinking to myself, I was like, this we can't do this. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's more. What's going on? And then like as things progressed, I had so much. This is where I started getting really hateful. Like, I would walk around on my estate. I would have a knife and things like that. Like, I used to hate my dad, man. I used to hate him. I used to hate him. Do you know what I mean? Like, seeing all the stuff and all the, because you have some of the people in your ear as well. Especially when your family, your own family's going, you're just going to be like your dad. You're just going to be like your dad's family. I was feeling myself like,
I
come
was
on,
just going
man.
to say, like, you've constantly got that,
Yeah.
like, your mum's side of the family telling you you're going to be like him. That then makes you more angry, which then in turn makes you actually start following the path of your dad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. Like, it was just, I felt a bit like, what? Like, I felt useless, man. Do you know what I mean? As a kid, like, I just feel like, yeah, it was mad. But my mum's. I'll tell you one thing about my mum. So obviously, my mum's boyfriend. Like, he's the complete opposite of my dad. My mum's boyfriend. He's like when my dad's a bit of a lad. He's a geezer. He still thinks he's about 18 now. Do you know what I mean? Where my mum's boyfriend is like, he's a grafter. He works hard, don't drink. Or complete opposite, just a complete opposite. Do you know what I mean? He's harmless. Like, he's harmless. And he's stuck by my mum, but like, he had his fair shares, man. Like, I see my dad like beat him up with a hammer and absolutely put him through just because, like, he's with his ex-missus and things like that. And it's just a thing like that. So he took us in. He actually took us in. I started living there. But then I was still kind of so then I was now I've just come into a new family now, and I'm still getting looked down by them a bit. Do you know what I mean? And I was getting looked down by them. I just thought like, so all this builds up, all this plays a part. Do you know what I mean? Of everything I was doing.
Was he supportive though?
Lovely. He never said nothing to me. He never mate. He would never say nothing to me. I've had about 5. He's a lovely man. I've had about 5. He's a quiet man. I've had about 5 conversations in my life with him. I've known him for about 15 years, right? He's never been like tried to play that father figure or nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's really he's been sound. He looked after my mum, and that's the main thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's looked after my mum. But yeah, as it's happening, so then as I'm with my mum's boyfriend now, I've got that. I've introduced to a new family, and then like they're a bit like not upper class, but they're a bit like like we're from the estates, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like rough and ready. Do you know what I mean? They come from a bit privileged, more privileged than me. So I was like, oh, like, it's just getting looked down again. I'm kind of getting looked down again, and that played on me in school. I couldn't, like, I was fighting in school every week. I was just looking for a release. Do you know what I mean?
So how did you get into the boxing then? So obviously you've got all of this pent up anger. You used to box your cousins and things in the garden from your uncle telling you to do it and whatever. But like, how did it physically come to, I think I'm quite good at this. This is something I want to pursue. Like, did you ever see yourself getting to the stage that you're at now? Was that the reason that you wanted to go into it, or was it just like, you know what, this is my release of getting all this anger out, and then you just realised you're good at it, and it sort of took you on the path?
Yeah. It was actually when I moved. So my mother tried to send me to this school in the village, and I was only a kid from the estate in the village, so it never went well. Like, I was always the kid that I don't hang around with them, all stuff like that. So I was like, so I got kicked out of 2 schools, and then I got sent to the school on my estate anyway. But that was probably the best thing that ever happened. For the year I was there, they said, all right, Jordan, we want you to do a bit of boxing to release. And that was the first time I ever felt like someone took a bit of interest. Do you know what I mean? Graham Alley looked at me and was like, have you boxed before? I was like, no. I said, I've done a bit, like, street fight, whatever. I don't know. Just done a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? So like, I had a bit of that. I had this fire in me, this spiteness in me. And he was like, I'd like to see you again, blah, 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 blah. So I kept doing that, but then I thought to myself, oh, well, I'm about 14, 15, I was about 15 here, 14, 15.
Is this when you then started at the West Ham Boxing Club?
No, that was beforehand though. That West Ham was that was just before, yeah. So here is where this was when they first come to the gym, that trainer and done their boxing. This was the first time I actually, like, I felt like a bit important. It was the first time I thought, like, I am somewhere. Like, I belong somewhere. Do you know what I mean? And it played on my head a bit. And then I was looking at home, and I was seeing my mum get upset and things like that. And I was bringing police to the door. I was doing some wrong stuff. I was making money. I was doing things to make money here and everywhere. And
Did you also feel like a part of getting into the boxing thing sort of was, I can protect my mum if I know
Yeah,
how
like,
to fight, I can protect her.
yeah, 100%, and just like to like cause her less stress. So bringing the police home every week and her making up. Listen, she'd always protect me and like listen. She never grasped on me to the police. Do you know what I mean? She'd make up whatever. She
He's
would
been
just
in
make
his
up
room all
different lies
night,
each week. Huh?
playing on his PlayStation, good as gold.
Yeah, yeah. He's upstairs. Do you know what I mean? But I'm
Yeah.
not. Do you know what I mean? I ain't been home for about a week. Do you know what I mean? but yeah, and it's just got to a point where like you only can do that so much week by week. So I asked the man. I actually said to him, I said, can I get a job? Can I get a job at your gym? And he said, you know, you've got to be reliable. He said, I said, no, please. I said, I need it. I really need it. I need to like earn a bit of money for my mum and that. And he said, yeah, come down. He said, you can work 4 o'clock till 9 o'clock. I was only young. I was like, yeah, like 14 here, 14, yeah, 14, 14 years old. So I was like, sweet. So, but I didn't really realise after, like, I was finished school at 3, and normally I'd have like, you know, a few hours to get in trouble, things like that, and then I would do stuff. But like, to be at the gym for 4, it was literally, I had to run at the top of the hill to my house, get changed, that'd take half an hour, then run there, you know, and then get there for 4. I was never late, I was there every single day. But I do believe that choice there literally set me up like that. Like every choice you make dictates your future anyway, and that was the first. That was the first choice I made, and instead of going down the hill after school, we used to go down the hill and like you know do some stuff, some wrong stuff. You know, rob people. You do all sorts, all bad stuff. Do you know what I mean? And especially when you're young, you got the older lads as well. You kind of influence, you kind of look up to them, even though they're wrong ones. So instead of that, I started going up the hill, and everyone was like, "What are you doing?" Like, I was like, "No, I've got, you know, I want to go up here." Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm an extremist. If I've got my head on something, I'm 100% in. So I started going up. I started doing that, and then yeah, like I was in there, and I started feeling. He started making me work in the gym, taking people on the pads, cleaning, and all this time, I'm learning discipline. I'm learning how to speak to people. I started coming out. I was a shy kid, man. Like I couldn't even talk to anyone. Do you know what I mean? And I started to like, you know, build confidence, and you know, I started seeing less of my mum being upset, and um, I felt like I made her proud of it. So I mean, I made her proud, and like, weren't really hearing of no bad situations going. Like, there's still bad situations going on now and then. Like, I would even have times like where like. They've got 5 brothers. One of the brothers come around the house, like booting the car door in. So I ran out there, and then he tried like his friend to stab me. Do you know what I mean? And things like, oh, this is mad. So this do you know what I mean? It's just like supposed to be family, but like I love my dad's brothers. They're my uncles. Do you know what I mean? They're like even though all this stuff has happened, right? I do love them. Do you know what I mean? Like I actually do. Like it's I'm gonna hate me anymore. Do you know what I mean? And that's where boxing kind of changed me and saved me. I used to have all this hate and like honestly so much right. That gym made me just lose the hate. All I wanted to do was kind of love, and then I will keep that in school anyway. And like I was kind of still doing naughty things, but I was kind of like going to the gym to hide out. So he kind of saw that, and he said, right, I want you in the gym now, 10 in the morning till 10 at night every day, Monday to Saturday. I was like, all right, sound. Do you know, it was a bit of extra money. I thought, all right, sound. So I went a bit of dough, you know, as a young kid for myself, and
And you must have felt like quite cool as well, like, God, I'm getting to hang out with like, you know, these older guys, they're showing me like the ropes and things. So
100%.
if you like look back at that now, your friends were just hanging out being knobheads basically, and then it's like you were there learning how to be a man.
Yeah, yeah. Like they raised me. They literally raised me in the gym. They raised me in the gym. They looked after me. Listen, like kids will be kids. Kids from the estate be kids from the estate. Do you know what I mean? And where I'm from, it's hard. It's hard. Like the way the systems worked out and things like that. It's hard to make a living. So not everyone wants to do a normal job. Not everyone's happy with a 9 to 5. So they do all stuff to break out. Do you know what I mean? And
Well, there's still plenty of that going on, isn't there?
well, of course there is, and like yeah, but you know, I'm still very all the kids I was in school with, all the lads on my state, I'm still there with them. I'll never forget where I come from, and I always try and give back to my state. Like I'm just like I'll try and use my image. Like, it's impossible to kind of do anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter where you come from, man, and what situation you're in. It's possible. Do you know what I mean? It's just that first choice you make. But that gym there, 10 till 10 in the morning, things like that. That's where I really started to like lose all the boxing. Just wiped me clean of hate, man. I couldn't walk around with it anymore. I couldn't walk around with it anymore. And I remember going to my granddad's house and things like that. And it upset me. I ain't seen my granddad for 5 years at this point, or four or 5 years at this point. And he shouted at me. He said, "You shouldn't be here." He's old school, man, proper old school. I mean, he's a big man. He was. "You shouldn't be here." He said, my dad weren't allowed near me or my mum or things like that. Something to do with the law or something like that. So it upset me. Do you know what I mean? But I was like, no. I said, I just want to like. I don't want to hate. Like, I want to just be normal. I want to be civil, and just like. Dad to be my dad and my granddad to be my granddad. No more hating, no more like
handing out the olive branch.
Yeah, everyone just to be sweet. I'm sick of drama. I've got sick of. I don't want no drama. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not. Arm's length of drama since I've been young. Do you know what I mean? I can't deal with it. I hate it. It's boring. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, that was the first real release, and from there I feel great. And like from now on, my sister went to New Zealand for 5 years, so she was kind of missing quite a lot because she was in the same kind of position, but in a different circumstance. If that makes sense. So she got old enough and went away for 5-6 years and things like that. But yeah, that's where it all started. And then I booked for Stephen. I said I want to box now. I said this box. So he said, all right. He said go to Stevenage ABC. It's local. So I went, all right. I had 2 fights from Stevenage, and then they said, oh, we're going to the championships, ABAs. So the biggest championships you can ever enter. Like, I've had 2 fights, and all these kids have had 50, 60, 70 fights. I'm like, I was nervous. Like, I don't know. Everyone's got, as a kid, everyone's showing off how many fights I've got, and I've got like 2. Do you know what I mean? So I'm thinking, oh mate, I'm gonna get my head punched in here. So you box for about 6 weeks, like a 6-week cycle. So the first week you box the best in the home counties, then the best in London, then the North East, whatever. And the first round was against the home counties, the best around your area. And it's supposed to be the easiest bit around my area. And I struggled. I won on a split decision against a travelling lad called Kevin McDonough. I beat him on a split decision. I thought to myself, cool, I'm boxing the best in London next week. Like, everyone was going, well done, Jordan, you've done well there, you've won the regional title, it's your 3rd fight. But then I boxed Matthew Roberts. I don't know if you know Alfie Best. Alfie Best's cousin, the lovely lad. Southpaw, never boxed a Southpaw, opposite. I mean, never boxed a Southpaw before. I beat him 14-4 points. I was like, mate, like, I've done it. Do you know what I mean? That was the pre-quarters. Then I boxed Connor Hutchins, one of the favourites to win it in the quarters. Then I beat him. Then everyone's like, oh, well done. Like, do you know what I mean? Everyone's hurrah, does all that. Now I'm like ranked 3rd in the country here. My first season of boxing, like, and then got to the semi-finals. Everyone's kind of saying like, I was boxing in England, lad. Someone who's boxed for England 10 or 15 times for that.
And how old are you at this point?
16 here, yeah. So I must, 16, and
so is that around this time when you was at West Ham?
Nah, so I spotted West. So this is when I spotted West Ham. I got to the final, beat the England kid. I got to the final, boxed the world number 2, and I lost by a couple of points. But I thought to myself, for a first season of boxing, I got chucked into the deep end, and now I'm ranked number 2 in the country. But in the final, all I saw was West Ham lads. There was like 5 or 6 lads from West Ham, and it kind of stuck in my head. I thought to myself, that's a good club, man. That's like everyone was talking about. Everyone was fearful of them. They had champions after champions. So I thought to myself, I need to get there. Do you know what I mean? So I thought I'll do one more championship with Stevenage, just to see, give myself, a bit of belief. Because that, I thought in my head, I used to think to myself, that was luck. Like, I just got to the national finals. That must have been luck. Like, do you know what I mean?
At what point did your mind change and be like, no, it is actually me. Like, I've got a knack for this and I'm talented.
At West Ham, and when I got to the finals again for Stevenage, I went to Stevenage. I got to the finals again for the British title. And then I moved to Steve. Then I said I'm going to West Ham, right? And it was at West Ham was when I got my confidence and my belief. Like, this is it. Like, I remember going down there. Like, well, we had at this point here, we're still struggling. So I mean, we're still struggling. Like, my mum was never really asking. She couldn't ask her boyfriend for money for me. Do you know what I mean? Things like that. So like, I remember selling my clothes, my Pierce 2 or 3, I don't know what it was. I sold everything. I got a couple £100, and I was doing some other stuff to get some money. And my mum was selling her jewellery, and I made about a few £100. It was enough for about a month or 2 months down West Ham. So I raised some money. I was like, happy days. Like this is gonna get me here like 3 or 4 times a week. I went down there, and it was a Saturday morning, and like, oh mate, you walk through the door. I was nervous, mate. The best of the best come out. Nigel, Ben, Kevin, all great. So I mean, Olympic champions, world champions, have all been there. Spitting sawdust, old school, clarion blue. Mickey May's there. Mickey May's a legend in the game. Like, made over 120 national champions, old school EastEnder. And I've got there, I'm nervous. It's a Saturday morning, and I'm actually so nervous. And Leanne come, and she was like the secretary. She was like, oh, she was like, yeah, who? She was like, oh, I want to come see like I'm off to West Ham. She's like, okay, sit in the office. So I'm sitting there. I remember just my legs shaking. Then Mickey May come in. He's about 78 years old school, walked in. He's like, oh, you want a box, yeah? Oh, yeah. So he's all right. He said, do this, do that. Go on the back. So do the back. I can see him watching me. So I'm trying even harder. You try even harder. So I'm like, after one round, I'm blowing. I'm trying so hard. You know what I mean? I'm tense and things like that. And then he done the pads with me, and it just me and him just gelled. Do you know what I mean? He was gelled, and like I remember walking out of that gym, and it was a Saturday morning, and everyone I was training. I was a fit kid. I used to get to the finals, the first season of boxing, because I was fit and I was just strong. Like I was just so determined. Do you know what I mean? But all these other lads were better boxers than me. I had no technical. Like I never got taught. I just got taught.
Yeah.
Come forward, move my head, and just break them down. And
so when you was at West Ham, they actually they put in the effort to teach you all of the technical side. Yeah. So that probably makes you a better boxer then than some on the circuit at the moment, because obviously you built up the strength and stuff first and then learned the technical, whereas probably most people go in learning the technical first and all of that, and then they've got to build up their strength.
Exactly, and that's where now, like, I believe, like, I'll be a better. Like, I achieved so much in the amateurs. Like for starting boxing at 16, a lot of kids start when at 8.
Yeah.
I had over 100 fights. Do you know what I mean? And like from West Ham, I won my first. After being there for 6 months, I won my first titles, British titles and things like that. Then from there, Mickey May passed away in the end anyway, and it was sad. But I had to.
So he was basically like your mentor.
Yeah, he was. He was just like, it was just. I don't know what it was about him. He had this vibe where he could just. It's just, I don't know. It's just something about him. He was the only man I feared. He was the only man I feared. Like I just wanted to make him I wanted to make him proud.
Make him proud. Was he sort of? Did you look up to him as sort of like your father figure then?
Yeah, we went out close. Like, I just looked up to him. He was like a role model. Do you know what I mean? Like, and everyone was scared of him. Like, you weren't even allowed no drinks or food in the gym. Like, he got off his head. Like, he was like, he just had this little bit of fearful of him. Do you know what I mean? And I think he's seen how much I worked. And when I was going down West Ham, where it was still costing me money, like I got a job in St Pancras. So I was like, I thought I'd get a job in St Pancras. So I'm halfway, and then go to West Ham. But a few things were still kind of catching up with me through my childhood of trouble. So I moved to Essex. I had to move to Essex with a random family. Some random family down at West Ham said, "Oh, we know you're travelling from Luton. We've got a child. You can come stay with us." I thought to myself, that's a bit weird. Like, I don't even know you. Do you know what I mean? Things like this. But obviously, Mickey May has been speaking about me.
I was going to say, was that a link from the boxing club then? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice,
Mickey May.
Then.
And so I thought to myself, I don't know about that. Like, I don't want to leave my mum and things like that. And I'm like, so I'm about 17, 18, maybe 17 at this point. So I've gone to West. So I said, you know what? I'll go to Essex. I went to Essex, and it was a summer day, beautiful. Like, it was like the complete opposite where I'm from. You could literally leave your car doors open overnight. Like, it was lovely. Big man. I went to the house. It was a big mansion. I just thought to myself, I was like, this has got to be me. Do you know what I mean? Like, she said, you can live here, you can stay here, stay out of trouble, things like this. And I was like, all right. I said, all you can do is stay here and box. And she gave me an opportunity. I said, yeah, I want to do it. Do you know what I mean? I want to do it. And it was hard leaving my mum. Do you know what I mean? Like, so hard. Do you know what I mean? We've been through so much together. Do you know what I mean? But I had to do it. I had to do it. And within the first 6 months I was there, and this is another thing where I always believe the right choice has always been made for me, and I'm always on the right track, because the first 6 months I was there, I was kind of missing home a bit, and the lads rang me and said, "Oh, do you want to come home? Do you want to come home? We ain't seen you for a while. There's a house party." So I was like, "Do you know what?" I was like, yeah, I said I want to come. I'm missing. Like, I ain't seen him for 6 months. But the only thing that was put me off was I had training in the morning. So I was about to go there. And I thought to myself, oh no. I said, do you know what? I said I ain't gonna come tonight. I said it's too late. I'm gonna be tired in the morning. Next night, I get a phone call 4 or 5 in the morning that my best mate's been shot in the back. One of my best mate's been shot in the back. So I think to myself, man, I'm so lucky because I know in my luck that would have been me or like you just. Do you know what I mean? Things happen. Do
You
you know what I
get
mean?
caught
So
up in it somewhere, yeah.
yeah, so that all happened, and then big drama was going on there. So I was thought to myself, nah, I need to stick to this boxing. I need to make this boxing. So then Mickey May passed away. So then I thought, I'm 17, 18. I thought I need to turn pro. I want to turn pro. So then I started training down East End, Mark Tibbs, Jimmy Tibbs, big in the game. You know, trained Billy Joe Saunders. And I was training there, and I just thought to myself, at this point, I've had about 45 amateur fights, only losing 3 or something like that. Lost 2 or 3. I just thought like, I wasn't ready, and I was speaking to Billy Joe Saunders, who's world champion, and he was like, "Yeah, he went to Hoddesdon," and I thought, "Do you know what? I want to try Hoddesdon and just learn my apprenticeship. You know, learn box for England." He said, "You can box for England and go into the Olympics," and I thought, "I never knew you could do that." Do you know what I mean? I thought boxing my country. I thought that'd be great. Do you know what I mean? Quite patriotic. Why not? So I moved back home. Got a job at the airport just to make some money, and my friend got me a job at his, and I started boxing for Hoddesdon, and after a year being with Hoddesdon, I got to the England team. You know, I represented my country. Never lost.
We've got a clip here of one of your games when you. This is just before the Olympics.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Let's play it. Now, I'm not being funny. That bloke that you're fighting looks about 45 years old.
Yeah, you know what? He's from Serbia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mate, they're savages, mate.
Yeah, they are. They are.
They are. Over there, for Russia, Belarus, Serbia, Turkey, and no, there's 2 Belarusians. Five fights in a week, man. It's hard, like. But I want to go. But that was just before I went to England. Like that was yeah. So I got to England, become England captain. You know, boxed for England 10, 15 times, undefeated for England, and then I got trials for the Olympic team, Team GB. And I just thought to myself, for all these years, people said I'll never go on Team GB. I'll be a better professional, stay pro because of my character, and like I've got a good following. Like as an amateur boxer, I was selling 1,000 tickets. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, to come watch me box, like easy. Do you know what I mean? So like, I was like, I'm a promoter's dream. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm good to, I could be able to market well. So I thought, I said.
So at this point, while you're doing all of this, and obviously you're boxing for England, you've got all of this buzz around you. At what point did Tyson Fury's management come in and think, this kid's got something, let's sign him up?
So I actually met Tyson years ago. He come watch the ABA finals and things like that. He'd always come to the championships. But it was actually I got a few friends in Dubai, and they're like, you know, great friends of the management team, and they said, you know, they've always advised me as I was turning pro. I had a choice. It was over Charlie Sims. There's a big list, and I thought, you know what, like MTK made sense to me. Like they're the biggest and best management in the world now. They're powerful. They're strong. They look after their fighters, and yes is yes and no is no. There's no messing about. Do you know what I mean? And they run boxing now, so they've always been on the radar. But I just had to, like, instead of just jumping into one, it's good to I met everyone. Do you know what I mean? To make sure, you know, like,
make sure you're making the right decision.
Yeah, just for myself. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't ever want to think to yourself, oh, I should have went this, or this could have happened. Do you know what I mean? So,
shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that will come. But like, yeah, where was I at now? Where am I now?
So you were the captain of England.
Yeah, England represented, gone to the Olympic team. Then all the setbacks started happening. So, but all these like there's so much stuff. What else happened in my family past? I don't need to bring it up, but there's so much stuff will set me back and drag me down. Do you know what I mean? Which I don't even need to go over. But I think people can kind of get the vision of what the crack is. But then, so I got to the Olympic team. Had three trials. You're competing with like five boxers from your weight. So then the first one I passed. I always like. I always used to think to myself, oh, I think they're passing, I won't. But they passed me, and then they passed me in the second one. And before the third one to make the team, I look, I don't think you can see that, is it?
You have to go a bit closer to the camera.
Oh yeah, see that big naughty scar.
Oh, I thought that was a coloured tattoo.
Nah,
I thought it was like a feather. Wow.
Yeah, I hit someone and I ruptured my bicep, man, and
oh my god.
So my bicep was down here, right, and I was like, I remember doing it in the gym, and my bicep's here. Yeah, I remember looking at it. I was just finished sparring, and I'm going, I'm looking at it, and I'm going, right, I need
I need some medical help here.
Yeah, but everyone's like, oh, don't worry.
My arm's hanging out.
Yeah, literally, but everyone's going, oh, it's just a muscle spasm. And I'm thinking, my bicep's down here. So I actually drove home, and I went to bed. And I thought to myself,
how on earth did you sleep through that pain?
I know.
I get frozen shoulder and I can't sleep. I'm literally like,
I don't know, it's mad. But I thought I'd wake up and it'd be alright. And I woke up, mate, and it was like this. So then I went to NHS, and then they operated.
I mean, that is quite extreme to, pump up the old muscles, isn't it? Rupture it, and then you wake up and you've got like
happy days, mate. Ready for a photo shoot. But yeah, man, that was.
Wouldn't advise that, guys. Anyone that's watching, don't do that.
But yeah, that was a bad time, man. Because I went to the NHS there and they operated me, and they said they operated me and they couldn't do it, they couldn't fix it, and they said, "Oh, your career's finished." Well, they started thinking to myself, like, what? Do you know what I mean? They just left me on the table. I was laying there all morphined out, thinking, like, do you know what I mean? Like, thinking, what's going on? It was the first time in years I actually broke down. You know what I mean? Like, I actually broke down. Like, I was just there by myself, and I was just like, all this hard work, and I've just done like, I've done everything everyone said I couldn't do. Do you know what I mean? In such a short space of time. And I thought, nah. And then luckily I had a great man behind me named Gary King. He always seems like in me, and he always knew I chose the hard road instead of going the easy road. And he said, you know what? He said, go private. He said, I'm gonna give you £8,000. And he sponsored me to go private. All right. And I will
owe him the money back, or is he written it off?
I've written off.
Oh, that's
I've made him his money back. Trust me, I've made him his money back. We've done a deal, so don't worry. But yeah, and then I had 6 months of rehab and recovery from Dale Hardiman, and then I said to the Olympic team, I said, look, I've ruptured this. I want to be back in 6 months. They said, don't worry, we'll wait for you. Then you can do your last trial. So happy days. And then I felt like I was ready. And then James DeGale, who's fighting for a world title in Vegas or something.
Yeah.
He messaged me or rang me. And he was like, I need to sparring for my world title fight. And I thought to myself, I ain't done nothing here for 6 months. I thought this is the best way to
So sparring James was the first thing that you did after coming back from the major.
Well, I was running and things like that, but I wasn't using his hand. I wasn't boxing.
Yeah.
So sparring him was, but I thought to myself, this is going to give me carry. This is going to make or break. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I thought, all right, boom, do it. Went in there, mate. It was the best I've ever felt. Done 3. He had loads of sparring partners, and they're all waiting to spar. I done 3 rounds straight with him. He said, nah, stay in for another 3 rounds. And we was doing like 4-minute rounds, so like it was an extra minute. So like, mate, class sparring. He was ringing me each time to spar him for his camp. So I thought, all right, that's it. My shoulder's good. I've come on leaps and bounds to just working on things I needed to work on. And then I've done my trials, and I got to the Olympic team, and then yeah, mate, it was just 4 years with the Olympic team. You know what I mean? Ups and downs with them, but like, I had over 100 fights with them, 112 amateur fights and 98 wins, and done well. Do you know what I mean? Done well for like a short space of time, and due to my circumstances, we've done all right. And now I'm pro. Should be making my debut, looking maybe 19th of February or March. So I'm looking forward to that.
And there's talks that might be happening in the Middle East as well. If obviously, well, we're still going to be in lockdown over here, aren't we?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but I wouldn't mind that. Do you want me to get a bit of sunshine? So, wherever it is, it could be in the back garden. I don't really mind. I just need to get this career when I started, because it's been, as you know, the pandemic's delayed a lot of things, and
Hmm.
it's been crazy. And I've kept discipline. I've kept my head down. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm ready to ready for the real journey to start now. A lot of people have been waiting for me to turn pro for years, so it'd be good to get everyone behind me. And I know if I box in Dubai, I'll be taking a plane for the people over there. Honestly, the support's crazy, man. Great, honestly, real good people, man. I'm lucky to have a good support, and everything has been word of mouth for me. Like, I've got alright following on social media, things that's just word of mouth. So when I hit the mainstreams and the big media stuff,
Mhm.
it should be,
And you've got big names behind you as well. You know, you're saying there about James wanting to have you as his sparring partner. You've also had experiences with AJ. Obviously,
yeah.
you're signed to the same management as Tyson, so you've had experiences with Tyson. Tell us a little bit more about sort of the big support that you've got from like the big names.
Well, yeah, like we've always I've this is where my experience as a pro comes along, because I've been around the likes of Joe Saunders and James DeGale, and I've sparred um, George Groves, Josh Taylor, Andrew Tabee, Kevin. I've been to, mate, boxing. I never thought even, mate. I've been to like LA, Vegas, everywhere. I never be able to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like how is a kid from, a kid who's basically written off homeless, told all his life that it ain't gonna be nothing. Do you know what I mean? I want to be, an alcoholic or druggy, or I don't know, whatever people thought of me. Um, and I've done all right. Like I've done all right. I've been to LA, been to Vegas. I've been all around the world and boxed, and then had holidays. My holidays have always turned into training camp for some reason. Don't know why. Don't know how. But I've been to Floyd Mayweather's
Always
gym.
on. I'm like that though. Like if my eyes are open, I'm working. As soon as my eyes open till my eyes shut at night,
That's the best
normally
way.
like 3 a.m.
Yeah,
I'm constantly working. I'm on all the time.
the same me. I'm wired. I'm wired. Do you know what I mean? I've got to always think myself, because you got to make it. Do you know what I mean? That's what I feel. I have
Mhm.
to make it. I have to.
Yeah,
There's
no,
no. Have to. I have to.
no plan B. If you have a
Uh,
plan B, you're just setting yourself up to fail. So you just
Plan
have to
B
just
distracts you
say
from Plan A.
exactly. Now, how do you stay motivated? Obviously, you're saying there's no plan B or whatever. But apart from obviously your daily videos that you receive from your uncle, keeping you going. I'm loving watching these. I said to you the other day, I was like, yeah, I really need your uncle to start sending me these things to like get me out running and stuff, because
Oh mate,
that's
you
the
got
only
me
thing I
there.
struggle with is like my fitness motivation. Work motivation, I'm sound. But yeah, I need someone to like be shouting at me like, come on, it's a glorious day, get out in the sunshine and have a run. Like
Yeah, but
it's
you're obviously
mad.
like your work, like you probably just made yourself disciplined to work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's like it's just the same as me. Like
I can't go and have fun unless I've done my
yeah,
content or my work, or at least I've got to do like 3 productive things a day to get me closer to my goal every day. And
yeah.
if I have a day off, like a duvet day to watch something on Netflix or something, I literally beat myself up about it
Yeah,
for
same,
like
yeah.
for a
Works
week.
me, yeah. But yeah, I just know how it is. Do you know what I mean? I know what I don't want to be. I know the feeling of not being nothing, and like I've just got an opportunity to make something of myself. Do you know what I mean? I
But
really have
especially like in this cold weather now, like January, and it's just so depressing and it's lockdown. Like, how do you just physically get up and be like, oh, I've got to go for a
Yeah,
run?
that's the same as yeah. That's like you do. How do you do work? That's my work. That's like.
Yeah, but I do it in the warmth. I've got my central heating on, and I can
Yeah,
stay
but
in my
I'm
closet.
telling you now, yeah. If you had to box, if you had to go out there and do a run, I don't like running. I don't like running in the cold. I do it all the time. I do it every day.
I hate running.
I do like I love it, because it's gonna get me where I need to get to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We all do things we don't want to do, but if it benefits you, happy days. Do you know what I mean? So don't get me wrong. I don't like getting punched. I don't like getting punched in the face. Do you know what I mean? But I choose the sport which I get punched in the face, because it's a way out for me. I want to be champion. I want to be world champion, things like that. But mate, I'm changing my generation's life. Do you know what I mean? Like I've got a nephew, and when I have kids and things like that, mate, they're not having this trauma and all this growing up, mate.
Mhm.
They're having a sweet life. Do you know what I mean? And I used to envy school kids. You know, like I used to see him out, and I'd like, mate, well, they'd be target for us. If you see him, mate, he was rolling. Like, I used to be so like, why has he got everything? Or what, like, I don't know. It used to be so hateful to him. But then like now, it's just like I get that, like they're dads, or whatever. Some of them have come from what I've come from, and they've just thought to themselves, all I want to do is just change my kids' lives. You know what I mean? So I think fair play. Fair play, man.
And when you're not boxing, you also like to keep fit doing something else, don't you? I've got a little clip here.
Singing and dancing.
There's a bit of the dancing. Let's just show a clip of that now.
Boy, what's gonna play that game? Oh boy, what's gonna play that game? Shalimar, Swanee Shore. Let me make this jive once more, boy. Right on down to the gate. Oh boy, now can't you hear those hepcats call? Come on, boys, let's have a ball. The jim jam jump is the jumping jive makes you think your jive on the mellow side. Hep hep, hip hip. The jim jam.
So that I'm just thinking now about you becoming like the all-round boxer. So you've got the strength, you've now got the technical ability, and you've got the fast footwork there. Is that another reason why you do this dancing?
Well, that's the excuse I use.
Because I couldn't keep up with that dancing. I'll be all over the shop. I'm all right. I'll be at the bar, mate.
You're gonna buy it now. Listen, for me, it's a switch off. It's just a switch off. Like, it's just a switch off. Do you know what I mean? Switch off, learn something new, and I love all the old music. I never used to. Well, I did, but I just used to like shy away from it. It was all about UK rap and things like that.
Yeah.
Which I love now anyway. And
I'll be honest, that whole swing thing ain't for me.
But for me, I love it. Do you know what I mean? Jazz, swing, and like I love all the cookies, man, and the morals and the dress sense and how
you must have loved Peaky Blinders then.
Yeah.
Bit of you, yeah.
Bit of me. Good dress sense, good men. Do you know what I mean? Proper men.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Nowadays, men are like women, mate. I'm telling you. And they're bitchy. It's pathetic. Honestly, it's embarrassing. Soft generation. We live in a soft generation, mate.
Yeah.
Now we are.
I
really do believe the next generation can't be so soft because we live in a nice generation now as well. It's so many, steps to this and steps to this and do this. There's no straight to the point.
And also the thing is that women like myself are stepping up and like becoming boss ass bitches and things like that. So it's like guys really need to step up their game now. I actually put something about this on my Instagram earlier because it's like, but going into detail. But anyway,
I see. Yeah, but if you're with my missus is the same. Like she got her own businesses and things like that, and like it's like if you're jealous of your partner or something like that, it's weird. Like you should be a team.
Yeah, exactly. Be a team, grow to be equals.
Well, yeah, just help each other out. Yeah. Just help each other out.
Yeah, I just hate it when guys are like, "Oh, you've emasculated me." It's like, hold on, there isn't a female equivalent.
That's
you know what I mean?
syndrome. Yeah.
Yeah, so just need to step it up, guys. So you're coming up to your pro debut. So also Tyson versus AJ is edging ever closer.
Yeah.
Have you been speaking to Tyson about this? Or
no, Joe. I know Joshua more than AJ.
Yeah.
Like, I spent years with Joshua, and like. Yeah, like I was on the Olympic team, and his training was my training from Kraken. So, if I'm being real, in a fight, from what I've seen the last few years, I feel like Fury will beat him. But if Joshua boxing ability and things like that is in the Fury's favour, like unbelievable boxer, someone who moves like that, 7 foot, he can punch a bit, he can take a shot. He's ticked all the boxes. Do you know what I mean? He really has. He really has. But then Fury, but Joshua is hungry. He's hungry. He's a freak of nature. He's powerful. So like, I can see either Fury winning on point. It's a hard one. It's such
a hard one. I think you're right with the boxing ability. Yeah, I would probably say sway more towards Tyson. But if I'm going with like who I actually want to win, I want AJ to win.
But all women love AJ, don't they? That's why.
Well, I've interviewed.
He's cracked it, mate. Do you know what? He's cracked it, mate. Because I think he's some man, Joe. Because like he's mate. Like I used to think to myself, I'm sick of seeing her. Like I'll go to the bus stop and he'd be at the bus. He'd be on the picture of the bus
Because
stop.
they sport, doing this, doing that.
I'll go get links, and then I'll go training, and then he's just there, and I'm just thinking to myself, he's everywhere. Like he's
Yeah, he
smashed
is
it. He's brought the
everywhere.
money in. He's changed his life. He's changed his family's life.
Yeah.
And he's
And
giving
he's giving back to
opportunities.
his community as well. Like the thing is, it's not just his looks and whatever. I think, well, I mean, for most girls, it's probably that. But like knowing him personally, like when you actually get to know him on a level, and you hear like his stories and things like that, he's just so humble. And I know that some people say, oh, you know, he comes across as this and he's a little bit arrogant and whatever. He's not. He just knows that he's good. He never has any doubts about himself. But this is how you become a champion, because you can't become a champion if you've got doubts and you're insecure. Like you said, you know, you found yourself and then you're like, yeah, you know what, I can actually do this. And look at you now. You've turned pro, you're getting your debut, and you're going to smash it.
That's it, very true, very right, yeah, 100%.
100%. So is there anything else that you would like to chat about?
Yeah, no, I think we've kind of like covered a few bases here.
There is just one thing actually that I want to ask you. Obviously, going through your career, all of the hard work that you've put in through the amateur days, then doing the Olympics, the amount of effort that it actually takes to turn pro. What is your opinion on these YouTubers just coming in and getting sellout gigs straight away? Like, surely, as somebody that's worked their way up properly, that must really piss you off.
Well, it's not even that, right? Because it's a business. It's just a business. Like, yeah, I know it's like. I think
at the moment you've got Jake Paul. You've got Jake Paul trying to get Conor McGregor.
Yeah, it's a business. If you can make a few quid, fair play to you, mate. Fair play to you. Do what you got to do. It started a long time before that. I know lads who they haven't had no amateur careers and they had no amateur fights, no pedigree, but they turn pro anyway. So it's like anyone can turn pro. Anyone can turn pro these days. It's mad. Do you know what I mean? It's not like football where you know they're professional. They're professional.
Yeah, you have to get scouted.
It's different. Like boxing's a hard game. That's why if you don't do your apprenticeship and things like that, it's hard, man. Like anyone can turn pro, but if you don't do your apprenticeship, you've got something to offer, then you're not going to be on good salary. You're not going to be on per round wage. You're not going to have all these different stuff. You'll be on a ticket deal, and it's a hard game. It's a hard game. And what I think about it's a bit of a livy. You know what I mean? Especially when you see all these YouTubers and like some of them are like they're not fighters. You know what I mean? But if they make a few quid and look after their family, fair play to you. Happy days. Anyone who wants to make a few quid and they can, fair play. Let it be, mate. Because at the end of the day, life's hard. Life's hard at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And if you can get through somehow or whatever, I'll take them out to you. Simple as that.
Well, and for them, it's kind of win-win, isn't it? Because it's like, well, I'm going to get all this money, and all I have to do is get a few punches in the face or whatever, and then I can happily go off find this car. Who else?
People who know boxing, like they wouldn't take no notice. Like people, boxing people, would be like, come on. But the general people who don't know, they see swinging things like that. Everyone's like, oh, he's amazing. But the media is so good, right? I tell you how good the media is, right? When McGregor fought Mayweather, there's not a chance, right? McGregor could win, not a chance. Like Mayweather's pound for pound, he's boxed everyone. Marquez, Canelo, Manny Pacquiao, everyone. There's not a chance. But the media is that good, right? It made me think to myself, has McGregor got a chance? Is he too big? It makes you, do you know what I mean? It's just the media, do you know what I mean? So it's just a business, man, do you know what I mean? But it's mad. Sometimes it's a bit of a livy, but if they're making millions, then it makes sense, doesn't it?
So could we ever see you fighting a YouTuber one day then?
Yeah, I'll fight a YouTuber, I know.
I mean, I've got a YouTube.
Anyone, who's a YouTuber? Yeah, can't have it. Who's a YouTuber? Jake Paul, is it? Paul, Jake, or Logan?
Oh, God, please knock him out. Please, I beg you. It's so annoying.
They're freaks, man. I mean, the thing is, I think, what they get right is they mouth off on the social media and in front of a camera. But when when they get seen, they're actually going to get slapped. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not about, do you know what I mean? especially if it's someone who's normal lad. They're not gonna be like you've just said. Especially the geezer's been put out McGregor about his missus and things like that.
Yeah.
McGregor's gonna slump him, mate, when he sees him. He ain't gonna go, oh yeah, it's not.
To be fair, I reckon his missus could probably take him as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Don't mess with the Irish.
I know, mate. That's why I'm out here, mate. They're all tough.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Jordan, for joining me today, and we wish you all the best with your debut, and we will be keeping up to date with everything on your Instagram. So let us know where the people can find you.
Yep, we'll do. J Reynolds Boxing on the Instagram and Reynolds Boxing on Twitter. And Facebook is for the oldies and families, so I'll stick to Instagram.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and we'll keep an eye on that. Speak to you soon.
Brilliant, mate. Thank you. Take it easy.